Okay, so it's a part two time this morning. It's 1:55 in the morning, West Coast time. It's the 6th of May, 2024. Here's Zombie out here, Weaver, John C. Roseman, California. Still not alive, not awake, wants to go back to bed. So, I was talking about rockets, and I was talking about an upcoming Boeing launch that's going to happen tonight on the East Coast. They're going to be launching their test ship again. Now, I think last year or a year before that, they launched, and they had set up, if I'm not that mistaken, and that was, they call it the Starliner. Was that it? That's it. Yeah, Starliner. Okay, so the Starliner is only going to be popping upstairs for a bit, floating around, and to see if everything else works, and then coming back down to Earth. I don't know what the mission duration is. I gotta get more information about that one. But that's got me interested. Now we got the commercial people trying to get their ships out there. This is the 21st century. We should have already had ships in a moon base already. In science fiction lore, we already would have space stations and deep space ships going out to Mars or moon bases being built. But in reality check, with things happening these days, it takes a long while for our imagination to catch up and to outpace our writers, our creators of imagination out there who would create things like this out of the thin air. But now we get to see it in our lifetimes. Some of the kids growing up these days, they've read things about the books, but as old farts and us old timers, people older than me, I'm 58 right now, but 70s, 80s have seen it, who've experienced it, who probably had their hands on old technology that was sent up in space and came back down to Earth. It's like trying to see the Wright brothers redesign their ship for flight again. We're not seeing the Wright brothers at work. We're seeing the progenies at work of making sure that we've got airplanes and rocket motors. And then the one thing I'm also looking for in my lifetime, and it probably won't happen, it's just only chemical burns at this point. But what happens if we had nuclear energy working? What happens if we actually had nuclear thrusters? Like in Space 1999, we had these things called the Eagles. Uh, a space transportation system that they actually had to fly from the Earth to the moon and around the moon all the time on a constant basis. I'd like to see that going on. I want to see that happening. I want to see that technology going on. Not just the computer technology they had, but I want to see this engineering feat going on. Or better yet, they actually decided or actually made advances in gravitational plating. I compare science fiction movies a great deal in my head. Some things are possible and some things aren't possible. You look at Babylon 5. Without rotation technology, without the rotational drum, they'll be floating around left and right. They'll be secured in straps. And I wouldn't know how they would stand it, but living in a space station all the time, they're getting more and more biometric data of how being weightless in space for long periods of time can affect a person, both on the ground but also in space. They're constantly monitoring. how space would affect a person long term as well as short term. So every time I kept saying Babylon 5, they always had these guys uh, walking around ships. But when it came down for the space station was constantly turning in space. It was always in one spot, but the rotational drum would be turning, creating artificial gravity. We have yet to have that technology. And that would be interesting having that. I mean, we had seen something like that in a movie of 2001, A Space Odyssey, where the USS Discovery was launched from Earth to the moon to check out the alien thing called the monolith. I call it a thing because nobody else could find this slab of whatever it was. And so these astronauts would be living in a spaceship floating at a certain speed towards Jupiter, but there would be a gravity drum in there where they would be able to walk. And certain areas that they couldn't walk without going on Velcro all the time, certain access tunnels. And they demonstrated that in the movie. They tried to do something like that in Skylab. Not the rotational, but the Velcro all over the damn place. I'm still waiting for science fiction to catch up with the technology. I'd like to see a gravitational plating by some kind of weird ass energy things that we can stay on a ship and it's traveling nearly at the speed of light or even warp speed. They've got their structural integrity fields to keep gravity going, keep people moving normally. I'm waiting for that technology, but it won't come in my lifetime. It'll be interesting, pretty damn interesting. There was one television show talking about aliens using special fluids to help counteract traveling through space at hyper velocities. Sometimes when I'm watching all these shows, even back then, they had to have some kind of scientific basis. They depended upon physicists, astrophysicists, engineering to make sure that there's some kind of integrity, accuracy of what they're looking at may or may not be possible. And in that context, I hate to throw this damn thing out, but there's a story that's already been passing through the internet already, and I still think it's bullshit. Time travel? Guy goes to a shed, comes back aged. It's being shown on the social media platforms. Is this possible? Is it possible? Is it possible? And hearing all these people believing in this bullshit. Give me a fucking break. It's one thing if we happen to come across conspiracy theories about holes in the ground that may or may not be having some kind of weird ass alien technology or something down there that the government doesn't want us to see. And hearing about that stuff being passed around left and right. I mean, I've heard it. I've read the science fiction stories. We've made science fiction television series, cartoons, God knows what else about the damn shit. All this conspiracy crap. And now I got one of the social media guys out there I follow from time to time and flipping his lid on this damn shit. He doesn't believe it, but he's still flipping his lid on this. Guess he's like, oh, what about this and what about that? I'm thinking to myself, oh, great, he's becoming one of those flat earth guys again. Oh, that's even fun right there. I mean, they're getting more and more discounted and less because we got more scientific proof. How can the Earth be flat if we've got round planets and round moons out there because of gravity, because of forces that keep orbiting, makes these planets and celestial objects orbit the way they are and form and function? Why is the sun one like looks like a round ball of gas burning, emanating energy from it because of nuclear reactions happening inside of it? We see these gas giants in our system that could have been failed stars. Actually, could have been stars, but looked like failed stars. Jupiter being one of them. A big, round, orange, active ball of gas and whatever is down on the inside of it. Mercury, planet closest to the sun, getting cooked and fried on one side and chilled on the other side. Round. Venus, the same damn way, already cooked through and through because of gas and shit we're going to be going through pretty shortly. Or turn out to be Venus in about a few thousand years if our atmosphere doesn't get any better and we can't get the global heating down. We'll be cooking. Give us about a few thousand years, we'll be cooked like that. We got a round moon. It's not perfectly round, but it's not flat. It's not a perfectly flat disc. Shit. I never could quite understand that bullshit. A flat disc? Give me a frickin' break. But you still have conspiracy theorists that, well, what about this? Why don't you chill out? You're worrying about that. You're having a conniption fit over that. Have a conniption fit over your damn life. You got other things happening right now that could be taking your life out right now. Biological terrors. How about that one? Chemical terrors. We have nuclear, maybe. We're at a COVID nightmare. Let's have a conniption fit over that one. Let's have a conspiracy conniption fit over that one. Actually, they already have it already. Still ongoing. We got politicians still killing each other on this one, trying to make sure people are in so much fear and paranoia and panic. Every time we keep seeing these weird ass stories coming up from the TMC or from other people following the shit, I keep telling myself, why am I doing this shit following this crap? I really got to be bored out of my mind. I would be more excited about a damn test ship going up in space, floating around for a short time and coming right back. And if it's going to work out, fine, we'll have to see more of it. But I still want to see my Space 1999 Eagle ship out there. Why not? I like to see it in my own time. The problem is, it was supposed to be out there already. We're supposed to have that kind of technology. Here we are, 2024. The show came out in the 70s, predicting what would happen in 1999. Go figure. Go figure. I'm figuring I need to go back to bed and wake up.